Good morning all students, welcome back. So let us have a look into the third question of previous week's assignment that was based on the chapter. Create a list of your choice with some given numbers. Okay, no problem. We will create a list of our choice. Let us say my choice is I want to create a list of 5 elements. I have many options. You can create a list directly like this also, not a problem. You can ask the user how many elements he or she would want, that is also okay. You can directly enter input of you can directly take the input of 5 elements from the user, that is also okay, because this is totally our choice. Okay, so I will be taking input from the user of 5 elements. So let us say I will create a list. Let my list name be K. Okay, for I in range 0, 5. So my loop will be executed 5 times and I will take input of 5 elements. So let us take input in the variable A equal to input. Let us say enter elements, enter element. And we know that once element is available, we will append that element into our list. And normally what we are doing, outside the loop, we will print the list. Okay, and I think this will work very properly till now. Once we execute, let us enter 5 elements, and as you can see that all 5 elements are entered and our list is ready. Correct. If you want, you can increase it. Suppose if you want it to be for 10 elements, you can just change the condition and nothing will differ, because it is told in the program that we have to create a list of our choice. So the whatever number of elements that is required in the list will be our choice. We can take any number of elements. Write a program which accepts a number from the user and prints the frequency of the number. Frequency means number of times repeated. Okay, frequency means number of times repeated. Suppose I will give you a small example that I have a list K equal to 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and suppose when the program is asking the user that tell us you want the frequency of which number, because please remember, write a program which accepts a number from the user and prints the frequency. Means first of all we have to ask the user that please tell us a number, and then we will tell you what is the frequency of that number. So suppose when I execute this list, user is telling that I want the frequency of 3. So our program should repeat that 3 is repeated 3 times. Okay, that is what is the meaning of frequency, if you were not aware. Okay, so I think till now our program is working just fully and properly, that I have entered, for example, some elements, and that elements or those elements are actually printed very properly in the list. Correct. Now what shall I do? Our program should accept a number from the user. Our program should accept a number from the user. So let us take that E equal to input enter an element whose frequency is needed or required. Whatever you want to write, you can specify the same. Enter an element whose frequency is required. Correct. Now it is not a very difficult program, students. You know that we had a discussion of a function count. Count will specify the number of times each element is present in the list. So fairly simple. I will say print what is the name of the list? K dot count what I want to have the frequency for. Which element do I want to count? The element that the user is entering here, that I want to count. And I think this will serve my purpose. I think 10 elements. So let us say 2, 22, 23, 25, 26, 26, 27, 23, 23, 90, 23 and so on. Now suppose I want the frequency of 23. As you can see, I will write a proper message later on. As you can see, 23 is repeated 4 times. Very simple as that. Now, just for instance, let us reduce, because I do not want to enter so many elements again and again. Just for instance, let us say user is entering 5 elements, and you enter an element whose frequency is required. I am entering 88. I am very sure my program will not give an error, because obviously 88 is not there in the list. So what to count? Technically, count will be 0. Technically, count will be 0. So this is one very simplistic approach for that. Let me write a proper message, and then we will see that how we can you can say make this program better if required. So print, let us say E is repeated. E is the variable name that will be searched. Is repeated dash, dash means this number of times. Okay, and I am hopeful that this will work. Fine. And we can always have some differentiation mechanism just to differentiate if so many things are there. Okay, just to differentiate. All these things are not compulsory. Okay, just this is called formatting of output. That's it. Let us say 2, 3, 3, 5, 6. I want to check how many times 3 is repeated. So it is very specific that 3 is repeated 2 times. Okay. And if I again see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I am entering 8, 8 is not there in the list, it will be showing that 8 is repeated 0 times. This is not wrong. This is not wrong. Okay. This is okay. 8 is repeated 0 times. That is fine. But suppose you want to have some small upgradation in your program. Suppose you want to have some small upgradation in your program. Suppose, not required. This program that I have done is perfect as per the question. Okay. Now suppose you want some upgradation in the program, that I want that if the element is not there in the list, it should not be counted at all. It should not print 0 at all. I want. It is not compulsory. I repeat, students, whatever I have done, it is okay as per the requirement of the program. It is very obvious that if an element is not there in the list, it will print that it is repeated 0 number of times. Very simple. But suppose you want to upgrade the program and you want that if element that the user is wanting to have the frequency for is not there only in the list, then it should be displayed that element is not present in the list, if you want that. So nothing difficult you have to do. Just like the previous program, you have to check if E in K, if element is there in the list, then only I will count. If element is there in the list, then only I will count. Otherwise, I will print a simple message that print E is not present, E is not there in the list. Okay, you can this is what you can say a personal recommendation. If you want, then only you go for the same. Let me change the count of the elements to 8. Suppose I want to accept more numbers of elements, say 22, 67, 65, 65, 90, 90, 190, and I want an element whose frequency is required. Let us say I want to check 91. Obviously, we can see that if I did not make any change to the code, it would have printed 91 is repeated 0 times. Obviously, because 91 is not there in the list. But because I have done some extra handling, it is giving that 91 is not there in the list. So how to count that? Okay, so this is also fine. Little upgradation. Without this upgradation also, as I told you, the program was logically correct. It was logically sound. Okay, students. So I hope you understood the concept of this. That would be all from my side for this video. In the next video or the subsequent videos, we will be discussing the solution of the remaining questions. Thank you and have a nice day.